thought for the next half an hour, we'll just have a chat and
Yes.
about different aspects of our life, like over a cup of virtual chai, basically.
Yes. I'm just going to think that all of you are in my drawing room.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I mean, one of my most favorite brands and the work you've been doing is Grassroots. And in a
Hmm.
very funny way, just the interview before yours, a couple of
Hmm.
days ago, was of Rima Nanavati of Seva. And
Oh, wow. My God. She's
yeah,
my idol. She
yes,
and
and
Ela Ben
she's
are
been
two
a
women
friend.
I really, really look up to. I mean, I'm inspired by both of them.
I know, and I've been at their house, and I tell everyone that I mean, I was telling Ila when I was in their house that I do so many interviews, I do so many things, and I can't repeat saris, and I don't like buying too many things. So wherever I go, I borrow saris from them, wear it, and return it. So Ila said,
Oh.
"Hey, next time you come to Ahmedabad, wear my sari." So I was telling.
She's such a gracious woman. I also had I've been lucky to be meet her in her own home, and
Yeah.
I came away totally wow.
And you actually say, I thought that was a nice segue into you actually say that, the grassroots was really inspired by them. You say your life has changed when you met
It was
them.
inspired by
The
my
women of
meeting with Ela Ben and her organization, completely inspired by her.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about it because I think, I had a good chat with Yash also, your son, and who's also a
Mm.
fellow. We were talking the other day, and I was asking him, I said, what is Anita passionate about today? Like, what is it? He says the only brand she cares about is grassroots right now. So, so that's the one she really wants to focus on. So before we go back in time, Anita, I thought we'd take a minute and talk about grassroots and how did your inspiration come for it from the women of Seva? And
So
just tell us.
I'll tell you. So I don't
Yeah,
think Yash
yeah.
was correct in saying that I'm only passionate about grassroots. It's not
Mainly a
true.
lot.
Yeah, no, I am. I know everyone in the company also keeps saying that you're only passionate about grassroots. I think there are only two times in my office, Lakshmi, where I have wept in my boardroom. Like I have just wept in front of 20 people in there, is on grassroots because it's
Mm,
slow fashion and I have these young designers who work with me, and grassroots requires a lot of patience because you have to create a design, and then it's so easy today to get a design machine embroidered, computer embroidered, and bring it to life. As a designer, every designer likes to see their designs come to life as soon as possible. And
mm-hmm,
today with technology, we have digital printing and we have computer embroidery and you have machine embroidery, which is, you can get a design out like in 3 or 4 days, whatever you've conceived. But grassroots really teaches you patience and is truly slow fashion. So in grassroots, if we have to think of a design, we ensure that every technique used in that garment is handcrafted. So there might be a garment which is firstly hand woven. You know how
mm-hmm.
long hand weaving takes. By the time you
Yes,
create a
yeah.
design, you send it to a weaver in a distant part of India. It will take 3-4 months to come back to you. Then,
Mm-hmm.
if there might be block printing on it, block printing again takes 2-3 months. In the monsoons, no block printing, everything comes to a standstill.
Yeah.
And if it's hand embroidered by the women of Seva, that takes another 2-3 months. So the young
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just lose patience. And then, when we just started the label, I would have these designs which I'd approved. And I'd suddenly go into a meeting and see that somebody's taken a shortcut and said, can we just replace this one technique by machine? And I'm like, no, guys, please understand the true purpose of grassroots is that we keep rural India crafts alive, especially rural India, and we empower. I mean, I'm passionate about empowering women more than anything else. So, yeah, so in that sense, I'm very emotional about grassroots. But then again, I'm
Yeah.
emotional about everything. So,
Everything.
so
That's
I don't
okay.
know.
No, I'm so glad you talked about crying in the boardroom because one of the things, like in the corporate world, people say you shouldn't show your
Yeah,
emotions and all that
I
stuff.
completely
And I'm like,
disagree.
yeah, and I'm like, how is it? So like even when I was working at Intel, which is like a male-dominated place, and I was like one of the few women, And I would go into this whatever, some meeting, and we'd be arguing, and especially like if it's a performance review, whatever, and I would start crying, and my boss would be like, he would be like, oh my god, there's going to be a lawsuit or something right now. But I'll be crying, and I'm like, but I don't, but just keep talking, because this is just how it is. I mean, it's like I would be so emotional about it, and
Yeah.
I said, but that's just the way it is. I can't like cut off my emotion and suddenly be like this,
Yeah.
tough person, kind of a thing. So, when those emotions kind of um, come into business, I mean, there is still, um, what do you call? There is a money part of it you have to handle also,
Oh,
especially
the tough
kids.
part.
I know, I know. I mean,
The not so nice part.
See, you're not only the creative director, you're the CEO of the company, and your brother
I'm the
works with you.
chairwoman. I'm everything now.
Yeah, you're everything. And your brother works with you, your sister works with you, now your son works with you. Like, how does it all work? And is it like a lot of emotion, or you complement each other well? Are there any boardroom battles? Obviously not, because you're all still together. So tell me a little bit about the balance of emotion and business.
Lakshmi, when I work with my family, I think what keeps us together is that luckily all of us are very purpose led.
Yeah,
Today the organization for us has just become more about purpose, and I think my brother and my sister love me so much. We're such a close knit family that
yeah,
they joined me because they wanted to fulfill Anita's passion. Anita's passion was to create beautiful clothes when I started
right,
out. And Anita
right,
was always excited, I want to do this, I want to do that. And so my younger sister joined me because she would just see this passion in me and say, okay, I'll help you. It started with
right,
that
yeah,
some, I don't know, 40, 35, 40 years ago. Then so
yeah.
did my brother. And I think today the glue that holds us all together is their love for my passion. And then the
Mm,
common purpose we all share now, where we all want to do whatever we do at work, we want to bring about change. So
right.
Mukesh, my younger brother, is very, very passionate about animal welfare. We both are. And for him, he now manages the foundation. So he takes forward our vision of doing something for animals and changing the mindset of human beings towards the animal world. So he
Mm,
works with me very closely on that. And of course, he also runs the business.
mm-hmm,
Meena is also, like me, very, very passionate about women's welfare. So
uh-huh,
whether it's in our Global Desi brand, where we again, have a community of women in rural India who we train, and they stitch the Global Desi clothes, not embroider it, but stitch it because they are not talented as the Seva women. And whether
mm-hmm,
it's Yash, who's grown up coming to work with his mother, I've literally carried him in a little bag to work and put him on the desk. And he's literally
yeah,
grown up with my world, with my other family, my work family. So for him, it was just inevitable for him to get into the business because he kind of grew
right.
into the business.
Yeah, yeah. Because he said, I've been raised by a lot of women. He said,
Yes, a lot
one
of
of
women.
yeah. And one of the things that, a lot of the women, professional women talk about, which I'd love for you to talk about also, is this whole thing of when you have children, a lot of women feel that, hey, I have to maybe stop working and stay home to take care of the child.
Hmm.
Or just before you came, one of the questions was asked, and I was talking about how you have to enroll a bunch of people into helping you, your
It takes
sister.
a village to bring up a
Yeah, it
child.
is a village. It takes a village. Like I had to enroll my sister. If we had to travel, my brother-in-law would fly from England to be with my son, or my sister would come from Hyderabad. Or, I mean, he was raised by a lot of people,
True.
and so I think it's very healthy actually for a child not to depend on only one person. But tell us a little bit about how, when you had a child, I mean, you were in a lot of ways one of the first women in a very traditional Sindhi family to, to say, I'm going to do this business. And you had your mother who was very supportive, your family was very supportive.
Yeah, my dad
And
was, of course,
yeah,
initially very against it and did all the drama that, the Bollywood drama, I'll commit suicide, my daughter can't work, all that drama got over for 2, 3 years. And he came around to it. I won him over with lots of love and passion, and he saw what I would do and I like it. And then he became my biggest fan. But I think I was very lucky with Yash, Lakshmi. And I think today in nuclear families, young girls do face a problem. I come from a
yeah,
large family, we have 6 children. So we're
Yeah.
three sisters and then three brothers. And I was very lucky to have an amazing mother-in-law. Again, lucky that the mother-in-law lived 10 minutes away. Lucky that the
Yeah.
mother lived 10 minutes away. And both were
Mm-hmm.
lovely women who were happy to look after Yash. So, every day he used to get packed up in 3 days a week to mother, 3 days a week to mother-in-law's house. And I was just lucky. Then I had an elder sister, I had a younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
But today, when the families are getting nuclear, I do understand a woman's dilemma when she has a child and
Correct.
has to balance work and home.
Right.
I think you really, really have to rely on mother, mother-in-law, aunt, masi, anybody in the family,
Friends, close
friends,
friends.
neighbors. But yeah, family is family, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
agree.
I just hope that every woman has that support system,
Yeah.
when she has a child, because it's amazing even for a child to be brought up by an army
Yeah.
of grandmothers and aunts. It's a great
Right.
upbringing for them too.
Right, right. And that's one of the things I feel that, we decided to move back to India when my son was 5, and we were there till he was 17. I mean, he was there till he was 17, and
Hmm.
then he came to left India. But those years, of being raised by so many
Strong
family
women,
members,
yes.
strong women, and even neighbors, my best friends were amazing. Like if
Yeah.
in case something got delayed, I could call my neighbor and say that, hey, can you make sure? And also, I
Yeah.
found
In India, we are blessed to have that.
you're
We are
blessed.
blessed to
Yeah,
reach out
yeah,
to a neighbor. I know in the USA it's not like that, but in India, thank
right.
God, it's still like that.
I know, I know. And talking about that, I was saying earlier when you came with it, I said we also have to learn to ask, because I think a lot of women take the responsibility without even asking. I think you need to explain to your parents, or like as you said, your father initially was not supportive, but you still kept doing what you wanted to do and kept working with him, talking to him. So
Hmm.
sometimes you have to explain to people, I'm doing this is important for me, I need your help. So nothing comes without asking sometimes, you have to ask first
True,
also.
true.
And
Yes. We give
and
up, women give up on their dreams too soon, Lakshmi, is what I've
yeah,
seen. And I
yeah,
really
yeah.
today want to tell all the women, whoever, we're having this conversation with, that don't give up on your dreams, fight for them.
Yeah. And also I feel that there is like this indirect praise for the woman, to say that, oh, you are this, you're that, only a
Who
woman can take
sacrifices
care of it.
everything.
You sacrifice us, you make it so desirable that that's what I'm doing. And I think
Yeah.
we need to really balance that with, oh no, that's not it. You don't need to do the sacrifice. You have to ask.
But that's how we've been, I don't know, the culture, I don't know, over so many centuries, we've all been told that sacrificing for the family is what you do. Your family comes first, your husband comes first. It's just so
Mhm,
much in the upbringing. Now,
mhm.
of course,
So
I
how
think
did
it's
it,
changing. Today's young girls are chasing their dreams and going right for them. So it's changing
but
now, and I'm
in,
glad it is.
and in your time, you were the first one in your family to say, I really want
Yes.
a career. What is it that drove you? You went to SNDT, you studied fashion, like many other women did in your class. Like, what is it that made you say that I want to do this? Because you don't come from high fashion, you don't come from,
No.
a palace or anything like
No,
that.
I
And
come from a very simple middle class Sindhi family. My father was a refugee. He fled undivided Pakistan at the age of 11. He had a very hard life. I've always grown up hearing his hardship stories. So he always taught us to value money.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'm fiercely independent, Lakshmi. So I have an elder sister who also, never had a career. I mean, she did teach for some time, but she never was like a professional career woman. And she always asked me this, that we were three sisters. How come you always were so fierce about having a career? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just from a young age, I was very fiercely independent and always wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also remember when I was a little younger, I noticed around me in the family dynamics is that the men had the power. Lakshmi,
Mm-hmm.
the men made all the decisions. Like I used to notice in my house, my mom, when she wanted to buy something for the house, she had to go and ask my dad. And I always
Yeah.
thought that was quite unfair because my mom brought up six kids, worked, I think, harder than my dad in the house. She was a
Right. Yeah.
homemaker, but she really, really worked hard. We
Mm-hmm.
lived in Bombay, and she looked after his entire extended family, which is another some 50, 60 cousins. And I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen a woman work as hard as her. And then I always said that when it comes to a buying decision, why does she have to go and ask permission from my dad? Why is the money that my dad makes equally not hers? And I
Mm-hmm.
noticed as a young girl these little nuances in families. And I
Yeah.
think that I always remember when I was about 14 or 15, I told my dad, I'm going to earn my own money. I'm never going to take money from a man. Anything I do and
Yeah.
anything I buy will be my money. So I
Yeah.
think that in that desire to be independent also was
Yeah.
financially
Yeah.
independent was there in me.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That
so,
pushed me harder.
yeah. Yeah, and for me, I think my father always told us that you cannot get married unless you're financially independent. So it was the
Oh,
other,
ours was the opposite. My dad was
yeah.
pushing me into an arranged marriage to a wealthy boy, and he was like, "What else do you
Mm,
want?" Because that's what
yeah.
good Sindhi girls from good Sindhi families did. They married rich, eligible men.
Now, talking about marriage, I heard that you actually proposed to your husband. So tell us, how
Oh my
did you
God, where
meet?
did you hear that? Yes.
I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but
The
tell us
strong-willed
about.
woman, didn't impatient and strong-willed. We were seeing each other. We were seeing each other for a few years. He wasn't popping the question. I had to decide, do I really want to invest more time emotionally and, time-wise, because we were meeting almost every day, dating for 2 years, 3 years. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
this guy is dumb. He's not popping the question. So I just sat down and said, listen, are we marrying or are we not? Should we just
Yeah.
move our own ways? It was as simple as that. And he was
How
like,
did
but
you
of
guys
course
meet?
we are, but of course we are. I said, but you've never. So I've always wondered, and I really find this also, again, very regressive. Why does the man always have to ask the question?
Correct. Yeah.
And why do
Yeah.
women go in such a tizzy when that proposal happens? Like, why can't
Yeah.
we be taking these decisions? Why do you have to wait for the man to do the proposal?
Yeah, it's so funny. I had the same experience. I met my husband, but it was interesting. Like, but I was always like, who knows if this is the person or not? I was just like dating five people at the same time.
Oh,
So,
oh my
yeah,
God.
I was just like, oh, I'm not
I was
sure.
very loyal. It was one guy. I was
Dating
not.
meaning what? Just go out. I mean, nothing more than
I mean,
that.
yeah, he was my
Yeah.
first date, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't like that. And then after a while, I was like, he's so amazing. He's become like my best friend. And my dad said something very funny one day. He said, the person you're looking for is always already under your nose. He didn't
Sweet.
know my husband at that time or anything. He just said it. And I was like, wow, that is so true. And so we went out for dinner, and I still remember we came out in Stanford Mall parking lot. We were going our separate ways to our cars, and I just looked at him and said, I mean, we've been going out only for like maybe 5 months at that time or something.
Hmm.
And I said, so what is this? Are we getting married or are we just like dating each other? Because, I have
Sweet.
to decide very quickly. So he's like, you're the one who's not deciding. He said, when I first met you, I decided I wanted to be with you right then and there. But I
So
don't believe
sweet.
in the institution of marriage. But if you want, I'll do it. But I thought you're the one who can't decide. I was like,
So
yeah,
sweet.
true. But now, right now, what do you say? But I
So
agree with you.
sweet.
I think we made such a big thing of, you know, men making all the first moves, like even in
Yeah.
the dating world, like, did he call you? Like, you shouldn't call
Yeah, like,
him.
yeah, why? I've always found
Yeah.
that very strange. Even today it exists that the proposal is such a big thing.
Yeah, anyway, so I always agree with I always, if I liked somebody, I mean, I think I made people uncomfortable also. Like, I would go out and tell them that, hey, I really like you. Like, I would just say things like this, and people would be like, oh, what's she talking about? But I
Well, we're
think
very
it's like,
similar
just get it
on
over
I
with,
do the
you know?
same too. Yeah. I
Yeah.
do exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just speak my mind.
Yeah.
It's
And
better,
also,
it's nicer.
yeah, and also you're starting, you started with, I mean, some of these things I want to make sure they're right, that you started with a couple of sewing machines in your balcony.
Mm.
And Yash was telling me about how when you carried him with you, I mean, when he went with you, it was like, he said it was like one tiny place. It was in the middle of a slum or something. It was not like some five-star place or something. We would go to all these
No,
places.
it was terrible. I
Yeah.
actually started literally, Lakshmi. So imagine, so I was this 18-year-old in studying in SNDT. I started work at the age of 19. When I finished, in college, I did my two exhibitions in the summer vacations. And then I
They
graduated
were
and I was
sold
just,
out.
yeah, I was just dying to start work. And we had a balcony in my bedroom and coaxed my mother. I said, I want to start with two people there. Just literally started from there. The business grew. We were literally, coming out of that bedroom. And then I moved into a friend's car garage, 180 square feet.
Uh-huh.
From there, because I was very fiercely independent and I used to fund myself. And then I moved into another, literally, I've seen the Bombay, which today's young people haven't seen. I worked in the slums of Bombay. There's a
Yeah.
place in Bombay called Khetwadi in Bandra East. It's a slum. So
Mm-hmm.
I got a
Yeah.
little place on the first floor of that slum, and it was a little ladder as to climb up. I don't know, even today when I drive past that place, I don't know. I think I was a demented woman, Lakshmi, to have done all this. I really was demented. So I literally every year moved from these slum type places. And then finally, after a few years, I could afford an industrial estate where I got a proper unit. And
Mhm.
when I that happened, I always had this desire that I'm going to work from the most beautiful head office in the country. And that
Uh-huh.
dream came true, Lakshmi.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It came from that struggle of chotu places and, working and not even having a
Yeah.
table and a chair to sit on. I used to sit on bales of fabric. And
Yeah.
today I am so proud to say, I don't know, you've never visited us, have you?
I've been to your
You've
office. I've
been.
been to your,
And
yes, it's
it's
a beautiful
monsoon is
place.
looking so green, it's beautiful. Like every day when drive into work, I literally want to touch the ground and say, thank you, God, because it's
Yeah.
green, the hills are green, it's looking beautiful, it's lush, that all the trees we planted when we moved in 8 years ago have now grown into enormous trees. And I have trees just outside my window. I have birds on my windowsill, and it's just divine. It's like
And I just want to
it's
say, Anita,
paradise.
and I think it is your hard work. I think when you want to go someplace, you're only looking to where you're going, not where you're going from. So if it's a room in a slum, it's okay. If it's somewhere, it's okay. What you go through doesn't affect you as long
Yeah,
as
I mean,
you're
for me, it
looking
was
at where
I
you
need to
want
get
to
my work
go.
done. I need to get my work done.
Correct. Correct. For
And
that
today it's a
visible,
90,000 square feet green sustainable building, which is got, it's open, it's got bridges, it opens the sun, there's air, there's this light. It's beautiful.
yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah, yeah. And also I think the way you started the business, it said that you were tired of selling to malls and them saying, oh, in different malls and saying, oh, maybe not, etc. So you just said, I'm going to start my own business, my own
My own label.
label,
Yeah, because I was
House
supplying
of
to
Anita
stores and
Pratury.
selling under their label.
Right, yeah. So you just said, forget it, I'm going to start my own label. That also is not common, I mean, in the sense
No.
to it's a very bold move to say, and that too, you came up with House of Anita Dongre, and it's very elegant. It's sort of like it's not just like I'm just going to do something on the side. It's just something launching with a lot of style. So, is it because you kind of it grew into you, or what made you come up with that name? Because people might have felt like, hey, my name, my personal name, do I put it or not? What was the thought that went through? What was it that made you say, forget it, I'm not going to sell anybody, I'm going to do my own label?
I always thought scale. In college, I did my thesis on Ralph Lauren in the first year and Giorgio Armani in the second year. Both these men today are, I think, in their 80s, late 80s, maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know, Giorgio's, I think, just turned 90. I don't know. Amazing, inspirational men who
yeah,
are still working till today. Like I know that Giorgio Armani still goes to his office every single day. Not every single day, but I know he goes to work
yeah.
and is still very much involved in the business. And I used to always think that how come there is no Indian design house that thinks scale? Why do we always think so small?
Right,
And
yeah,
so scale excited me then. Today it doesn't, to be honest. Today
yeah,
a kind of
right.
a little U-turn, and I do not want scale because I'm only thinking sustainability. Today
Uh-huh.
I'm in a today I'm in that state of being where I am questioning everything I do. I want to
Mm-hmm.
only do anything that is impacting Anything I do is how is it helping? So whether it's any of my brands, I'm looking at how does this impact women, especially. So whether it's
Mm-hmm.
and which is empowering women, because I meet hundreds and thousands of women, and I just love their stories where they come and say their first dress they wore for their interview was from me. Their
Yeah.
first date dress was for me. So I know I'm a part of so many women's lives with the designs I made for them. There is something we're working on on how do I now take this. So we have a property called And Arise, and I'm working on that for
Yeah.
urban women. Then in
Mm-hmm.
Global Desi, we are working with again rural communities where they are, taught to do sewing. So
Mm-hmm.
for me today, my satisfaction comes from purpose. So in the
Right.
last
Yeah.
5, 6 years, there's been a whole change about the
Mm-hmm.
way I think of my career, the way I think of my work, and even myself as a person. I'm growing, I'm evolving. Today, my entire focus is my own growth and journey as a human being.
Right. Yeah.
So I write every day,
Yeah.
what did I do today that was meaningful and impactful? How can I grow as a person? How can I be a better
Mm-hmm.
boss, better designer, better mother, better sister,
Mm-hmm.
better mother, daughter, everything, what are the
Yeah.
relationships in my life? How so it's
Mm.
it's it's such an interesting
Yeah.
phase of my life, I feel now, because Yash has grown up, he's married, he's his own
And I was going to
person
say better
now.
mother-in-law. You're a
Yeah,
mother-in-law now.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I just feel today like I'm totally independent to do what I want to do and to live my life on whatever I desire. So
Mm-hmm.
self-growth is a huge part of my day-to-day, what I'm doing.
Yeah. One of the things Yash said about you that was really beautiful was that he said, a lot of people think that, oh, my mother is the creative person, but like my father is the one that does all the stuff, etc. A lot of people think men, women roles like that. He said, it's really beautiful in my house. They really kept their professional lives very separate. And my mom's the boss of what she does, and my dad's the boss of what he does. And I think it's very true. A lot of people look at a woman-run business and they assume that the
Oh, I've
husband
got
must
that
be
so
running
often.
everything.
I've
Yeah,
got
it's
that so often, Lakshmi. Like
yeah,
everybody will look at me and say, like, especially about 8, 10 years ago. Now a lot of women know my story, but till about 7, 8 years ago, I used to meet women and say, हस्बैंड ने शुरू किया होगा ना बिजनेस हस्बैंड को हेल्प करते हैं आप फादर को
yeah,
हेल्प करते हैं then when I tell them help नहीं करते हैं I ran it on my own they can't believe it and luckily and
right,
exactly like I told you Raveen has never been part of my work I mean except
correct.
for occasionally coming to maybe a fashion show of mine once in 2 years that's all he's ever got to do with my career.
Yeah, yeah. And talking about fashion and high fashion, especially, Anita, I mean, we have, Kate Middleton wore your dresses, and most
Hmm.
of fashion glamorous people across the world wear your clothes for their weddings. You're also part of that world. So, when you think of your journey from having two sewing machines in
So,
the thing to
so
this, it's like, what is that? And is there an expectation? Do you feel that people will expect you to be super fashionable when you walk into their house? Or, tell me like these two different worlds you occupy right now.
So Lakshmi, I used to the Anita who was 10 years ago was this glamorous person who entered a room and would wear the most striking dress and would want everyone to look at her. Today I'm a very different human. Today I'm just the way I am. I'm down to earth, simple, basic, and most people who meet me can't even most people who meet me always ask, "Are you really Anita Dongre?" Nowadays,
Yeah,
I get asked, "You look very similar to this designer, Anita Dongre. Do you know her? Has somebody told you you look like her?" And then when I say I'm her, their jaws drop. So I'm getting
yeah,
used to a lot of that. I can still, wear my black t-shirt and black pants to work every day. I have a uniform that I wear to work. Today, I'm in a gray hemp dress
yeah,
because I'm doing store visits today, but my uniform at work is black t-shirt, black pants. And I can still go in and create the most gorgeous outfit for, let's say, a Priyanka Chopra or someone. And
yeah.
I love being part of both these worlds. So basically, I've pared down my life to become really basic, sustainable. I've thrown
Mhm.
out everything that is extra in my life. I've come down to really down to the very basics because that's how I enjoy living. But then I
Yeah.
equally enjoy making all these gorgeous clothes for these women. So I kind
Yeah.
of lead a double life right now.
I know. No, I think that's really great. And I do want to talk a little bit about, we'll open it for questions. The last question I have for you is that we talked about all the positive stuff that happened. Have there been setbacks for you? Have there been tough situations? And what gets you through? What is one of the toughest situations you can think of where you thought, my God, this is
So many, Lakshmi. I'll have to
scary?
write a book on my tough situations. Actually, that should be a book I should write because that would be such a
Yes, you
learning
should.
curve for every woman. So many
Yeah.
times I've gone to bed crying, thinking that this profession is too tough and I don't think I can continue. I've literally gone home and said, this is it. I'm calling it a day. I'm hanging up my boots and I'll just go retire. I'll just go live in the mountains. I love the mountains. I'll just go off to the farmhouse. I'll take up organic farming. And I can't do this. Fashion it just sucks my energy out. I've done that quite often and then just
But
woken up next morning and
what is
said,
it that made you? Is it
things can
that?
get you down. Sometimes it at one point of time it was finances. You don't know how much money you have to run the company. COVID was very, very tough for me. I would
Mhm,
be on a call with my CFO every week and say, how much money do we have left? We were paying salaries throughout COVID to everybody.
mhm.
That was a very, very, really tough part of my life that I realized from this designer who was having fun creatively, I became this woman. I grew up in the time of COVID because I realized I'm responsible for so many
Yeah,
people's lives.
absolutely. Yeah,
My
yeah.
carigars used to message me and people used to message me, and I used to, everybody only wanted money and help. So I was on
Mhm.
the phone helping people to get hospital beds. I was on the phone checking up on how everybody is. I think my entire COVID and especially the phase two of COVID, I felt was tougher than my phase one because, phase one happened and then we went back to work, things reopened and we thought it's over. And then the phase two happened, which for me personally was actually hugely traumatic as a founder of a company being responsible for so many people. And I'm kind of somebody who I feel everybody's pain. I think I took on
Right.
the world's pain on me in COVID. I felt everybody's sorrow and loss, and I shouldn't have been like that. Today, when I think back and I speak to my spiritual guides, and I have to learn to detach a little bit. So, COVID was tough on me. And then, of course, throughout my career, it's not been easy, Lakshmi. There are
Yeah.
I did a show, I remember some 20 years ago, where a journalist ripped my show apart. I mean, I don't think it was a great show, yes, when I think back. I tried something stupid and I did something different. And the critic, I suppose, just decided that he's going to rip me apart. And I cried and I said, I don't think I ever want to do fashion again. I don't think I'm good. And then I have a spiritual guide and I went and met her and she said to me that, she's a tarot card reader. And she put out a card and she said to me, do you know that there are millions of women in a few years will be thanking you, loving you, blessing you. There are another lakhs of people whose homes you will be running and you want to give that all up just because of the words of a journalist.
Yeah.
So being sensitive in this business is
Yeah.
is not the wisest thing to be
Or in any
um,
business, actually.
in any
Yeah.
business as a human.
Yeah.
Being a woman, it's been difficult sometimes, not all the time, actually. In fact, I've reversed that around because sometimes being a woman, they don't take you that seriously. And I love not being taken seriously because then I can show
Yeah.
them just how serious I am.
Yeah.
And then if you pull the carpet from under there and like, whoo, she did that. Okay. We thought she's a woman,
Yeah.
she won't do that. So sometimes I've enjoyed, not being taken seriously, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
also, I think a lot of times men are also under pressure because, they are expected to do something. And the daughters, they'll be like, oh, okay, whatever she does is good enough. So that gives you the freedom to actually do more. And when you
yeah,
have the
true.
pressure that you have to do this, I think it's more pressure, but you have more. You can turn anything into a positive thing if you want.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we all need to learn to do.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
learned. Always look at the glass as half full, not half empty.
Yeah, absolutely. Neha,
All
how about
right.
all
On
your
that
questions?
note, my God, Anita, Lakshmi, thank you for that fabulous conversation. I mean, the Q&A box and the chat box are buzzing, and I've been trying to like compartmentalize some of it so that we, get to some of the themes that the audience is asking. You seem to have a lot of women. By the way, Anita, your tarot card reader was right. I don't think it's only about the women who have been the beneficiaries of your clothes or the people who work for you. It's also a lot of women that I'm seeing in the audience who are inspired by your story and need
Mm.
to get into your industry. Yeah, so we have women like Swati who've asked, is it possible to successfully transition in your career from another domain at the age of 28? We have Debanjana who said that I have a baby who's 1.8 years old. I am a
Mm.
freelance artist specializing in fabric painting. I fill my sketchbook with lots of design ideas, but I cannot apply them. I want to work as a freelancer to balance house and work field. How is this possible? And while I'm at it, just a third one is from Yashaswani, who says that she wants to start her own boutique and doesn't know how to plan it and especially financially plan it to make it a success. Yeah. So if you can kind of touch a little bit about getting started in your industry,
Okay, I'll start with the
it would be.
first answer quickly. Somebody said she's 28 and can she do a career turnaround? I want to say, listen, you're 28, life is just beginning for you. Come
I
on.
know.
Imagine, I mean, I just made the statement the other day to somebody, and somebody asked me that how can you design clothes that are so young? I said, because in my head, I'm 28 forever. That's the age number I just love. So you're 28,
Perfect
you're the
answer.
same
Yeah.
age as Anita Dongre, get going.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
And what was
yeah.
the second one?
The
Somebody
second
said
one
they
was
have a
somebody who
one
wants
and
to
a
get
half,
into
age,
freelance, who wants
one.
to be a freelancer.
It's a great time to be a freelancer. It's just a great time to be a freelancer. There's so much technology today so that you can be a freelancer. You can freelance for someone in some other part of the country, world. Today, the companies are looking at freelancers because technology allows you to work from home. Technology allows you to work from anywhere today. It's a great time. Somebody said they paint on fabrics and they have a young child. Again, it's wonderful that you have a talent which you can do from home, because it's amazing when women have a skill that can be done from home, because you can look after your child and you can just, if you can have some space and set up a room to fabric paint in your home, you could do orders sitting in the house, you could paint saris, dupattas, so much that you could take on orders, just start an Instagram account, take online orders. So I remember three of them, which is the
And
other
then the other
questions.
one, Yashaswini and Spurti, are both. So they're saying they don't have a formal background in fashion, okay, but they would love to start their own boutique or start their own fashion label. Is that possible, or should they
There have
keep?
been a lot of successful designers who've not had a formal background and have been very, very successful. So I think if you don't have a education, you can still be successful. You can learn on the job. Always better to have an education. But if you don't, there have been success stories in the past. I'm sure there'll be so many more in the
And
future.
if they did want to pursue an education, would that be a diploma, a course? What would that look like?
Whatever they can afford in terms of money and time.
Okay.
And
There are
also, there are
diplomas,
so
there are
many things
degrees, there are
online.
so many
Yeah.
colleges, there's so many colleges today. At my time, there was only SNDT and Sapphire. Today, there's umpteen international institutions in India. And if they are speaking from, I mean, USA, of course, everywhere in the world, there are lots of options.
No, and
Okay,
also
fantastic. In fact,
online, I think.
Anu is saying I recently joined an FD course. There are lots of aspirants.
Yeah.
Lakshmi,
Yeah.
you saying something?
No, no, I was just going to say that there are a lot of courses that are online also. But I do want to say one thing here is that starting something is not easy. I mean, I don't want anybody to walk away from this thinking that it's very easy. If Anita didn't have her family help, if I didn't have a lot of people who stepped up and helped, and I know Neha, even for you, it's like people who believe in you and who are there. I always tell people, if you want to start something, having a co-founder or someone you really trust, or a circle, 2, 3 people who work with you, who are willing to come in and say, hey, I'm standing next to you, is very important. If any entrepreneur says this whole thing, I did it on my own, they're absolutely not right.
And
I agree on this. If you
that's true
can,
for men
if
as
yeah,
well.
it's difficult. I mean,
Yeah,
even today, I run a company where we employ almost 2,000 people. We support another thousands of people, but I work equally hard even today. I'm
yeah,
61. Today morning, I had an assignment. I mean, I had to submit a few designs and my comments on of them. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning, finished
yeah.
my work till 6 a.m., went for my workout for an hour, did my other, I'm on this call now. So I mean, founders have to work really, really hard. And if you can get help and
Yeah.
support, nothing like it, or a
And
partner.
talking
I
about,
want.
yeah, no, talking about starting off, there are also some questions like Madhuri has asked about what got you motivated despite the competition in the apparel design industry, as there are other established brands as well. How easy or difficult is it to break in when there's so many other brands?
Well, I think if you're passionate about what you want to do and you have a different voice and you know what you want to say and what product you create or what designs you create are different, you still have a place
Great.
because
I'll,
everybody
I'll
has a different voice in their design and you must offer something different. There's always a market, a consumer will always come to you if you offer something different, if you're authentic.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
there's lots
difficult. And
of,
I'm
there's
not
still,
saying that
I'm
today
sure
with
there's
all the
still a lot
competition,
of
it's not
untapped needs.
difficult. I'm not saying it's not difficult. Today, a lot of founders, even in India, are struggling because paid advertising on digital media has gone up to the roof. How do you market your story? How do you reach out to consumers? It's become very, very challenging. Today, business in India is challenging. You have to go in with, you have to be aware that this is going to be a tough road and I've taken this road and you have to work hard at it.
Okay.
And I also tell every entrepreneur, and I mean, and you've been through this yourself, Neha, is that if you want to start something, you have to look at your progress every 10 years. You cannot be disappointed in 1 year or 2 years. There'll be so many different versions of it, diversions, ups and downs. And it's only in 10 years you look back and say, wow, we did actually come quite far. But it doesn't seem like that in each year.
Yeah,
It
you
just,
need to be very, very patient. You need to have a very long vision. I find a lot of young people who come to me for advice, they're just so impatient. Everybody
yeah,
just looks at the fame you've got and think that this can be so easy to get. But your eye should not be on the fame. Your eye should not be on that. Your eye should just, you should work with blinkers. You just have to go to work every single day. And I just think discipline and consistency is very important. If you were to ask me, what are one of the reasons why I'm a success? I mean, I don't know, what do you term as success in today's world? Because for me, that's another debate we can have, Lakshmi, on what is
yeah,
success. We
absolutely.
can
That's
do a
a
one-hour
totally
talk
different.
on what is success.
Yeah,
But in today's world, what you term as a success, I just think that whatever happened, come rain, come whatever, I just went to work every single day of my life.
Huh.
yeah,
Just have to go to work. I mean, I take my short vacations, but I'm just whatever happens, I will go to work.
yeah.
It's
Working,
the
you need to
everyday.
make
It's
work
the
your
everyday
religion.
that adds
Yeah,
up.
it all
Yeah.
adds up. Yeah.
I'm going to move to another theme of questions that we've been getting on sustainability. Yeah. And like, for example, Punita said that we are quitting our corporate jobs at the peak of our career and toddlers at home. Me and our friend have started our own sari brand. And we have some questions. One of them is, how do we still promote sustainability in the age of fast fashion and sari being an occasion wear?
It's not easy, Neha. I'm also struggling with grassroots because today the consumer, though it's all very cool where young people say that they believe in sustainability, it's more cooler said than practiced. Very few people today want to pay extra for a sustainable garment, and a sustainable garment will cost you more, will cost you
Yeah.
30% more because if you're using, let's say, fair trade cotton or better cotton or organic cotton, or you're taking the better way route, you're buying from the manufacturer who's doing all the proper processes of water conservation, that person is going to charge you an X amount for the material. And that
Mhm.
garment will cost more. And customers want to come in the store and they just want to compare garments by price. So I just
Mhm.
still feel the awareness of sustainability is low, but I would definitely say it is changing day by day. Again, patience, you'll have to be very patient and just yeah, keep at it every day because you have to do it the right way. And I think
And
saris is great. India is seeing this great revival of saris. There are so many sari brands that have come up from female founders that are highly successful. She can follow the story of Suta saris. They're two sisters. They've done a brilliant job. And
Mhm.
there's always place for more. Like I said, you have something different to say, there is definitely place for you.
Fantastic. And on a related note, Anita, somebody said she runs a designer Juti brand. and
Mm.
she's keen to understand how we can engage with rural women artisans for such work. How do you identify and collaborate with them? She would love to, find ways to connect with and support these artisans for their projects.
I think it was a Juti brand. I guess she works with leather. And again, making leather jutis. I personally don't work with leather at House of Anita Dongre. We are animal lovers. We do not touch leather at all. I've never used it in any of my collections. But if she is probably working with leather jutis, it's again a traditional craft. Like if you take the Kolhapuri chappals, which is a big sudden, it's all over the news of this
I know.
international brand we used. These are traditional skills that are not taught. Jutis are traditional skills that are passed from father to son. So you have to go to a craft area where they are making that from generations, and you have to start working with them. And that's the case for any craft in India. Craft you
Mhm.
cannot teach; it's literally inherited from your parents. Whether it's embroidery, whether it's weaving, and that's why it's craft, and it's so important to preserve the craft culture of our country.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's difficult, but if you also want to and take the tougher route, you can take a group of rural women, you can train them, but that's going to take you really long. It might take you a year or two. Like when we set up the units in Charoti in the villages of Maharashtra to train women for sewing, it took us about 6 months to 1 year before a woman could sew a whole kurta and a garment. Juti making, I guess, should also take about 6 months to 1 year. But that's a huge time investment and a huge initiative. Maybe you could tie up with a company's CSR activity, because a lot of companies today run CSR activities where they are running training centers in villages. And in fact, they are facing the problem is that they're training women in skills of, let's say, jewelry making, or let's say juti making, which I don't think anyone I know does juti making, but then there's nobody to take those products. They're just training them, and then that's it. They're not teaching those women to become entrepreneurs, to
Market
sell
those
their
products.
skill. Yeah, that's a big problem India's facing today. So maybe you
Yeah.
tie up with a company who has a CSR budget. The Tatas run a lot of trusts where they do a lot of training. You partner with them, they train the women, and then you market their products. Is a great idea to do.
No, and
Fantastic.
also I think you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
Lakshmi.
interesting marketing things. Like I knew like Tom Shoes in US said that for every shoe you buy, we give away one shoe
We
to
gave
somebody
away a shoe,
who
yeah.
have it or something like that. So I mean, you need to create a buzz so someone notices you. One
Hmm.
thing I do want to say is that, when Anita started, or perhaps when I started, or when you're starting with something brand new, sometimes people don't get what you're talking about, so you have to start something on your own. But today there's so much going on. I think if you don't know anything about fashion, you don't have to start on your own. You can go work somewhere where you can learn it, and then you can start on your own, because there's so many more people today in India from whom you can learn than 40 years ago when
Yeah, then make your own mistakes on your job. Yeah, you should definitely
yeah.
work. I mean, I worked for 2 years with two very large companies before I started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
that's a great tip actually. And by the way,
yeah.
we will also, I mean, at Herky, you will definitely find a lot of jobs in fashion. Anita, we'd definitely love to get all the jobs that you have available also on fashion, because it seems like there are a lot of women who want to work for your label too. And on that note, Kirti is asking for a little bit about if, you can be the tarot card reader and tell us what you think is the future in a fashion business, or overall from a fashion industry, where do you think it's headed?
Oh my God, that's a very interesting question. I think it's definitely headed towards sustainability, but I think it's going to be slow because India has suddenly discovered consumption and materialism. So, we're at this
Brands
crossroad. Hmm?
and
Sorry?
brands also, and
And
brands also.
brands, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting time to be in India. It's a very, very, it's never been as volatile as it's today, the fashion industry. After COVID, the whole industry has seen a lot of turmoil. It's become more challenging. In fact, I would really, really, it's in a state of flux, the industry today.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting to see how it pans out in the next few years in our country. Because again, you can't take examples of sometimes I feel what happens in the USA and Europe because they are ahead of us in retail. Because I just think India is it's very different economy and our cultural we're culturally so different. So It is a great time, I think, also to enter the industry, but you've got to be prepared to be, you have to learn how to pivot, make quick changes. You can't come with a set plan. You'll have to just see how the consumer reacts to you, and then you have to maneuver accordingly, and you have to be very agile. Actually, yeah, agility is the name of the game today.
I just feel that India has such an amazing opportunity right now because soft power is the only power that's going to matter in the future.
Mm.
Because of AI and all these things, a lot of the mechanical things, a lot of the things that can be automated, things that are repetitive will be automated. It's just a matter of time. I mean, literally, the world 5 years from now is going to look extremely different than it
Different.
is right now. But the only thing that's going to matter is your creativity and your soft power. So
And the handicrafts of India, because
that's what
that's
I'm
done by
saying. That's
hand,
our
celebrating
crafts are
India,
like,
Indian craft.
because the minute you can automate something, some other craft is there that you cannot automate.
Yeah.
So I think the variety we have in India, the craft that we have in India, but we do have to learn to spend on the right things, because the one thing that irritates the heck out of me is you can go into a Louis Vuitton shop and whatever the price is, you have to pay for the bag. It's 2 lakhs or 20 lakhs, you zip your mouth, pay and come. The minute there is somebody selling a hand crafted purse for 500 rupees, you want to bargain it down to 200 rupees. And it really upsets me when I see
Same
that.
here.
Like,
Same here.
if somebody says 500, just give them 1,000, like it just did such little money. So I feel Indians have to really step up. And it's not a jingoism of let's buy Indian, dump everything that's made by other countries. That's not what I'm talking about. Is to preserve the craft, you have to pay more for a sustainable product. Pay it. Have only two shirts instead of four, but pay
Mm.
it. I think the biggest problem India has is we don't want to pay for anything. We want everything for free, and then we are willing to pay for a brand that just for the sake of the brand. So I think we really got to get our priorities straight and really pay for the crafts, really pay for you know things that are that are really traditional and beautiful.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I totally would request that everybody, whoever is in this room, to make sure that they buy something that's hand woven, hand embroidered, to
Yeah,
give that preference over anything else.
yeah.
Wow, have to say, like, as you'll see in our audience, we have potential candidates, we have creators, and we have consumers. And I think in all three avatars, we've been able to touch on so many important perspectives over here. I have one last question, Anita, for you, which Sasmita has asked. A&D or Global Desi, which is more you?
Both was started by me at different stages in my life. Um, I am today more grassroots, but these are my babies I've created. I love them. I look after them. And yeah, and
Yeah, it's like
it's like
choosing
when you
between
have
two
four
babies. You
children, you
can't do
can't
it.
say that which one do you,
By
Yeah.
the way, that's
they,
something that I always see women entrepreneurs also referring to their brands and their businesses as their babies.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are literally you,
Yeah.
kind of time and energy you spend on growing them, they literally become your children.
And also, when you start a company, I think there are times you sacrifice your child time with your child for the company. There are times you sacrifice your company for something. So it does become your family and it does become your child, literally,
Yeah,
just figuratively, literally, it becomes
yeah.
your child because you're taking away from one child to spend with the other child. I do want to say one thing, Anita, you're the first one to do this, I think, and only because only a woman gets it. Lehengas with pockets, man, I was like, I mean, I have honestly, I've never wore a lehenga. I can't wear anything heavy. So I just look at people who wear something that's 20 kgs
We
and
make some very light lehengas.
yeah.
That's what we
But
specialize in.
I know, but I was just thinking, what a smart idea. Once you hear it and you're like, of course, you know. but it is it is so great. I mean, I just am trying to figure out how can I have a pocket for a sari, like just somehow.
That would
um
be a
Yeah.
great next edition, Anita.
Yeah. I know when we started the bridal brand about 15 years ago and I put pockets in the lehengas, I'm like, I just couldn't believe nobody had ever thought of that before. I'm like, why has nobody done this? It was just so
because
simple.
not many women have designed those
In fact, one
lehengas.
of the
That's
reasons
why.
why I don't wear Indian clothes enough is because they don't have pockets. I need pockets.
Yeah, same here. But when I started and which came 25 years ago, I used to do a lot of pockets in a lot of my dresses. So for me, pockets were always important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah,
thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Anita, for an incredible
yeah.
Thank
conversation.
you.